Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be updating a few pieces on my Caliburn and doing some basic maintenance, so I figured I'd take you guys along for the ride. So for the most part, this blaster has held up really well. I've had it for a little over a year now, and it's performed really well over that time with some basic maintenance. However, because APOC is coming up soon, and that's really the big event I want to use this blaster at usually, I figured I'd update a few parts. There's a small hairline crack that's starting to form in this piece right here, as well as along the handle. It's a little more prevalent on this side. That really happened the last time I maintenanced the blaster. When I think I over-tightened it a little bit, and there was probably a hairline crack already there. However, when I tightened it on this bottom rod, most likely, it looks like it forced it, so I just put a bit of super glue in, and it seemed to hold pretty well. However, being that I want to potentially use this for most of the day without any issues, I just decided to print a new one, so I got this as well as some other printed parts. Now I printed these in a black PETG, so they should be pretty darn strong. I also went with updating the buttstock because I had the foam one, but that actually got a rip in it, so I'm just going to replace it with this one to make it a bit more reliable and I guess sturdy for the long run. One other slight issue I've run into is the ramrod appears to be coming a little loose. I can tighten that while I'm opening the blaster, so I figured I would start by opening it. I kind of regret not updating to the modern version with the coupler that splits on the magwell because it would make maintenance significantly easier. However, I kind of just want to keep this blaster in its sort of current state. I could update it, but I'd probably just build a whole new one to be honest, and then use one as a loaner. So I'm going to keep this one running in sort of the same condition. So now that I got a lot of those nuts off, I can take off this whole back assembly pretty much. It should all just slide right off the threaded rods. I'm also going to replace these two pieces just because they weren't the best print quality, and I think one has a crack in it, so I'm just going to replace them both with some new PETG ones while I'm at replacing all these other parts. So you can sort of see that crack a bit better in that front ring. It's not really major, but I might as well just replace it while I'm doing some other maintenance. I was looking at the sear back here. It appears to still be in pretty good condition, so I'm going to leave that one in. I have a bag of replacement parts that I bring with me to events, so I have extras of those and plunger tubes and stuff. I'm going to rinse this off and rinse out this plunger tube to re-grease the whole thing, and then re-grease this O-ring up here while I tighten it. I'm also going to wash this guy off and then tighten all the screws on here to tighten the ramrod, and then I'll re-grease the whole thing. So I got the old handle out with the sear still intact, so I'm going to remove all the hardware from this and just reuse it for the new handle. Now, one issue I ran into while removing this pin, I was just going to use this trigger guard. However, I realized on the new one that it takes those small screws, and obviously that is not the right size, so I'm just going to go print a new trigger guard and we will continue with the handle. So I thought the handle transplant went pretty smoothly. The old sear and trigger fit pretty well, and even the little guard cover here that goes into the stock piece that I also have, they all seem to fit together, so should be pretty smooth sailing as I reassemble the rest of the blaster. While on the topic of replacing parts, I decided to replace my O-rings. They were starting to shred a little bit, and I definitely could have gotten some more life out of them. However, I have a whole bag of them as I've used those same O-rings for other projects, so really easy replacement while I'm going through and doing that. The O-ring up here seems to be in pretty good condition, so I'm going to keep that one, but the big 123 size O-rings I'm going to swap out, just because, like I said, I have a whole bag of them. And then also, while I was doing that, I just washed all these parts off with some dish soap and warm water to remove all the old lubricant so I can re-lubricate it and have it perform pretty well. I put a little thread locker on the two small screws that go into the ramrod base here just to make sure that they stay in pretty sturdy as they hold the ramrod in and prevent it from moving around overuse, so we definitely don't want those to come loose. So the blaster is pretty much back together again and functional. I'm pretty happy with how the print quality turned out with the PETG once I finally got my settings toned in. I like the new buttstock. It should be really sturdy as opposed to the foam one, which was sort of ripping over time and sort of never really stayed on the best to begin with. Also very important, I did add this Yeet sticker. Now that'll add at least 10 feet of range, so that's really important if you're really pumping for those numbers. I wanted to put this bald eagle with aviators and hearing protection on because that's pretty American as well, but it didn't really fit too well in the plunger tube, so let's put that on another project. One other side note, I am switching the mag from the katana adapter to the talon adapter. I had this guy, which is one of Van's Yeet mag releases, stuck in the side because this is pretty tight, so I'm going to sand it down a little bit so that I can put this in hopefully a little bit easier. I think I forgot to mention this is a K25 blaster, so it's not the K26, but I like the consistency of the K25 Prime a bit better. It's a little bit easier, only by about 3 or 4 pounds, and the 18-inch barrel offers a pretty good range anyway. It's hitting right around like 230, 240 right now, so pretty much perfect for most of the things that I need it for. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I went through a lot of the other screws on the blaster, and they're pretty tight to my satisfaction, so I'm going to call it for this one. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video.